All right, it is time for the monthly Christchurch Real Estate Report, and joining me this morning is Cameron Buddy from Harcourt's Gold, Papanui. Nice to see you.
Hi Chris, nice to see you.
Can I just say I am a regular follower of your Facebook page, stalking you if you like. I've got to say, you look incredibly busy and some of the homes that you're selling look absolutely beautiful, but the market has slightly changed from this time from last year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, last year and the last 2 years probably we were booming. I still call this a really good market. We're busy. What's happening at the moment is good agents are busy and buyers and sellers out there are looking for experienced people. The media makes it sound all doom and gloom, but I think in reality, it's a normal market. It's interesting. We actually had a funny stat in our office. So I work in the Harcourt's Gold Papanui office. 2 years ago, when it was booming, we had a record-breaking month in the office. We did, I think it was 131 sales. This March just gone, we actually broke that record again. So we did 139 sales in the office. So everyone's talking about how hard it is out there and how doom and gloom the market is, but it's actually pretty good. And I think that's probably because prices have come back a little bit. The buyers can see it, and it's seen as pretty good buying at the moment. Christchurch market's still busy, it's buoyant, maybe not the same in Auckland and Wellington and other parts of New Zealand.
As a first home buyer myself, looking around the market and looking at all some of the new subdivisions, it is so busy out there, particularly on the weekends. You go there and there are reports of people in they call it the old days, of people literally just buying houses. This is first home buyers, and some of the real estate agents have been saying it just feels like it is still much of a boom, and they're putting it down to the fact that Christchurch prices seem a lot more affordable than, say, the likes of Auckland and Wellington. And I think there's truth in that. I don't think they're lying. There is truth in that, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so too. I've got some friends up in Auckland and Wellington, and they say it's pretty tough up there with prices coming back a long way. I think our prices in Canterbury have come back and possibly still may come back a little bit more, but we've still got higher interest rates than what we had the last few years, but that's offset, I think, by the fact that prices have come back so much. So as I said before, it's clear for somebody that there's some really good buying to be had out there. I think this could be one of those years we'll all look back in 2 or 3 years' time and say, hey, I wish I'd bought in 2023.
Do you think part of the reason why people are looking for homes as well is because the banks are being a lot kinder with their restrictions, say they were maybe in a year ago, but they've pulled back a bit, and the days of looking at, say, your Uber receipts and seeing how much you're spending, those days are gone, and the bank's just wanting to know what you're earning, what your income is, and that's making people go out and seek houses and have a look, particularly first home buyers, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, what we must remember is that the banks don't make any money unless they lend to us. So as interest rates have gone up, the lending's been has dropped down a little bit. So we're seeing at the moment the banks fighting for work because they want to make some money. So personally, I just had a block of flats that I own come off a fixed rate, and I refixed that at a better rate than what the bank had advertised, and they were also giving me some cash towards it. So the banks are really competing out there, which is a good thing. I think it's encouraging and exciting for first home buyers. We must remember also that most of the buyers in the market are not first home buyers. I reckon they probably make up 20% of the market. 60% of the market out there are actually just buying and selling in the same market. So if you get a little bit less for your house, you'll pick up one that's a little bit less as well. And it's the same changeover. So that's why the market keeps moving no matter really what's going on.
We often talk about sellers, but let's actually move to the buyers now. Obviously, it is a seller's market at the moment. It feels like it will be like that this year. Let's hope those interest rates come down. What's the situation like for buyers across Christchurch? Because, it's funny when you're starting to look for a first home like myself and you start to notice that there are so many different types of homes for sale at the moment, not just new homes, but it seems to be across the board. So, busy May perhaps as well as March.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is more of a fair market, Chris. I think what we're seeing out there, as long as the prices are right, the buyers are there. Anyone that's got a slightly overpriced house will be struggling to sell it, I think, in this market. So it's a fair market. It's a nice market to be a buyer in because you can actually look at enough property to gauge what you should be paying, and you can also see the difference between a good house and maybe a bad house. And that's what people want. 2 years ago, people were fighting for a house. They were fear of missing out. They were buying houses with maybe not the best flow, no sunshine, stuff like that. So things like that are more apparent at the moment. The expectation of a buyer is they want a little bit more.
And that sense, as you say, of perhaps not, well, maybe was panic buying, particularly during the lockdown period. It did feel like, homes were going just like that. I used to live in Redcliffs, and you're driving into work and there'd be a home for sale one day, sold the next, but they're taking a little bit longer, which is probably a good thing for both the seller and the buyer, isn't it? A bit more time to suss out the market.
Yeah, they're a bit more considerate in what they buy. They're looking for the perfect house at the perfect price, and they're prepared to wait. They know that there's going to be another property come on the market, whether it be in 3 weeks' time or 6 weeks' time, and they're more about trying to find the right house for them at the moment. From my real estate career, I always think it's about buying the right house for you. And sometimes it's just waiting for it. I think people get bogged down with the price, and personally I've missed out on some properties that I should have bought for $5,000 or $10,000 or maybe a bit more, but I think that buying the right house is the right thing. Time takes care of the price over time as long as you buy the right house.
Just funny, Cameron, this wasn't on our list of things to talk about, but I thought it was quite cool. Harcourt's Awards last week, wasn't it? And I saw you up on stage getting an award. What was that for, please?
Yeah, I got the number one agent for Harcourt's in Canterbury for the 11th year in a row, so really proud of my team for that. So it's a wonderful award to have, and we've got the Harcourt's New Zealand Awards this week.
Oh, more awards. Whereabouts are they going to be held? I must come up and where are they? Somewhere exciting?
They're going to be in Christchurch again. Second year in Christchurch. We've missed out on them for a few years with COVID, so it's all happening here in Christchurch in a week's time. It'll be
nice?
Full of real estate agents in town.
Okay, that sounds good. Cameron Buddy, Harcourt's Gold, Papanui, congratulations to you and your team on that award, and have a great week.